Hi, everybody. It's Owen from Seacastle. All right. So, welcome back. Thank you for coming back, or if you joining us for the first time, welcome. We have been working on a competitive shopper app, Power Apps application of an out-of-the-box template where we repurposed the Site Inspector app. Going to be 4 videos in total. This is the third of 4 videos. The first session was where we wired up the out-of-the-box Site Inspector Power Apps templates to use a data source other than just its internal collection. And we used a SharePoint list for that. In session 2, we added a home page to the out-of-the-box template so that we could add new customers, for instance, we call them brand names, and new locations or new visit sites for our shopper app. During this session today, we're going to clean up some loose ends. And then in the next session, we will add a reporting solution so that we can see the benefit of the insights from the data that we've collected from our competitive shopper visits. That's the inventory of video that we have for the competitive shopper. For this particular video, I'd like to point out with the cleaning up the loose ends, there would be far fewer loose ends if we had followed the Seacastle delivery methodology from the beginning. So there are 2 major components to our delivery methodology. There's the governance and program management, which is the top arch of initiation, delivery, and closeout. And then we have solution delivery, where there are iterative sprints of envision, plan, build, stabilize, and deploy for each of those sprints. Each of these sprints delivers a working piece of software, and ultimately there is an engagement that comes to an end, is the entire methodology. And so right now, there may or may not be some issues. I've gone through, without you here on my shoulder, of cleaning up some of the loose ends, such as the page titles, but there might be some that are missing. We need to double check that there is a consistent use of data across our application, because we added a home page that allowed us to create new entries, for instance, with the customer name, we called it brand name. And at the same time, we're adding a data source where we duplicate the saving of the data, because we kept the internal collections so we could use as much of the existing out-of-the-box template as possible, because there are several pages in this application that we haven't touched at all. We'll talk briefly about what some of the options are for your pleasure for using data sources beyond SharePoint, which is what we used in the example here. Had we been following a disciplined process from the beginning, we might have put together something like this document here, which is an application initial requirements traceability matrix, where we've identified a list of requirements such as consistent page titles and consistent labels and so on. And I won't bore you by reading these to you. If you want to read through them, you are welcome to pause the video and examine each one of them on their own. The home screen is the page that we added, so that's new. Everything else is a repurposed screen. So the dashboard screen was originally called dashboard screen. It had a page title on the dashboard screen that said site inspection, and we now need that to read site visits. Originally in the out-of-the-box template, there was a new inspection screen, and we have renamed that to be the new visit screen. Same with the edit visit screen. It originally was called the edit inspection screen, and now we call it the edit visit screen. And as you see there, the reference to the consistent page titles, the new inspection needs to change to new visit, and the edit inspection needs to change to edit visit. In a moment, we'll jump over and show you that we've changed most of those and confirm if there are any that still need to be done. There's also an inconsistent use of labels that I still need to fix. For instance, if you see under the new visit screen, you see that the form uses the field name title and the field name subtitle rather than the brand name or the location name title that we would like to see used. So I'm going to change the display name so users don't get confused when they see those when they're using the application. Again, there's a whole bunch of other changes that needs to be done, and for the most part, I think that we have finished those, but we will go through the application now and confirm that we've done all of this. So jumping over to the Competitive Shopper app, here is the home screen for the revised out-of-the-box templates that we put together after the session 2, where we're on the home page here, where we had added a logo to the home screen by simply adding an image and pointing the image attributes to media that we uploaded, which is a JPEG or a GIF. In this case, it's the SeaCastle Microsoft partner logo. Because since I haven't made a plug for us lately, we are Microsoft's Silver Data Platform partners. So if you are looking for some help with putting these applications together or wrestling with the data that goes into them, happy to have you reach out to us and see how we can be of assistance. All right, so again, the home screen, the title on it should be home screen. The dashboard was meant to say site visit instead of site inspection. That's what it says. New visit screen should say new visit. It does. The camera screen is generic. It makes no reference to either visit or inspection. The image screen, also generic, just makes reference to image, as does delete image. The delete visit screen, I had to change the label there to say, would you like to delete this visit? And the name of the page has been changed to delete visit as well. Image screen, the title says images. Edit detail screen, the title says details. And the edit visit screen, you see now the title for that says edit visits. Now, rather than changing the title fields, because that's a pretty foundational reference in every single SharePoint list that gets put in place, I'm going to change where I know I need to have that say differently than title or subtitle. So one of the pages that has this improper label reference is the edit visit screen. And you'll see here it makes reference to title, and it should be making reference to brand name. So if you click on the word title there with the asterisk, eventually you will get to the data card first, and then you click on the word title again, and it will get you to the text field, or excuse me, not the text field, the label that is being used for that title reference. And I can now change the property for that label by scrolling to the text attributes, or I could have gone to the text attribute field over in the panel on the right for the properties. And here in the edit bar, or the formula bar rather, or again in the attribute field over on the right in the properties, I can change this to say brand. And now, oops, and let's put the asterisk in place so people know it's a mandatory field. Okay, let's do the same thing with the subtitle, but now this time over on the left on the tree view, you see it's data card 45 that contains that information, and here is the edit key location value, and I actually want the label for this, which is the key 38 label, and I'm going to change the text attributes. So again, I choose the text value in the text attribute, and here I change the language from subtitle to be location and give it an asterisk so people know it's mandatory, and close quotes, and there it is. Okay, so if I run this to preview it, I see that it now says brand name Fabricam and location says Fabricam West. All right, very good. All right, so I also needed to do that under the new visit screen. So let's go back up to the top where it says new visit screen. And up in the top of the form here, again, it says title. I'm going to click on that word title. It gets me to the data card. I click on the word title again. It opens the properties window or the properties pane for that label. And in this case, again, title is brand name, and give it an asterisk. And the subtitle control or the subtitle label is the location. it for those changes. So let's run that and preview it. And sure enough, there's the brand name and the location. So if I go back to my home screen and I start running the application from that home screen, I want to go take a look at an existing entry. I want to go see some of the information that's already been captured. And as you look on the page here of the home screen, the one that's been created and added to this out of the box templates, there is no button that gets us to the page with the dashboard that allows us to see that gallery that by out of the box design shows us the full list of what's in the collection. So let's add that button to this home page, and it just simply needs to be insert a button that very easily can be pointed to navigate on select to the so first of all, let's navigate, and we want to go to the dashboard screen. Okay, and give it some type of transition. At this point, let's go with the cover right. And if there are any context variables, I'd hit the comma, and I would then add the context variables. But at this point, I'm coming from the home screen, so I really don't need any context variables because I want to see everything in the gallery on the next page. So let's rename this button as well. So over here on the tree view, I will click the ellipse next to button 3 and then rename it. Inventory, visits inventory button. Visit inventory underscore button. And let's change the text that shows up in that button. Let's say see visits. So now we have the button that says see visits, and it is already set up to go to the dashboard screen with the cover right. So if we preview the application and we click on see visits, there we are. We're in the gallery here that allows us to see the detail by clicking on the row entry so that we can see what's associated with that particular line item there. I think we've done all of these. There's a security issue or a design flaw depending upon how you want to look at it. Right now, if I was to go to the new visit screen or the edit visit screen, if I go to the edit visit screen or the new visit screen, these screens or these pages will open up with default values now for the brand name and the location. At this point, when you're creating a new visit, you can click in that text field. It is enabled, and you can type whatever text value you want and click the save button, and it will save that as the customer name or the brand name for this particular entry. Same thing if I'm on the edit visit screen. If I click on this brand name text box field that's here, by default, it uses the context variable of the brand name that we have passed to it. But while I am editing this screen or this page, the text box here is enabled, and so I can overwrite that information, just like I can overwrite the information in the location text box. Now, this may be something that you want to see happen because maybe this is how people will correct wrong entries. But if you want to have a better discipline, better design, better architecture in terms of audits, trails, and being able to save people from overwriting data that they did not intend to, you would probably have the brand name and the location name disabled for the edits portion of this particular page here, so that you can update the notes about it, but it would still be associated with that particular site location for the competitive shopper visit. So on the new visit screen, we click save. And so far that is submitting the form new visit, which commits the data the way that it commits. Previously gone to the edit screen, we had revised the edit screen. If I click on the save button there, sure enough, there's the workaround data flow. All right, so the Power Apps data flow workaround. Through the magic of editing, I can show you now, and actually I can click on the format text there so I can make it easier for us all to read. So the original out-of-the-box template used the submit form new visits to submit that data to update. And in addition to updating the collection through the form new visit, we are also going to feed the variables to our Power Apps data flow workaround for the brand name coming from the new visit brand name text inputs, new visits text description giving us the comment. If there are images, they'll be captured in this variable here. Otherwise, it's going to be a blank field. Location name, the notes, and this here is the GPS. So there's a little bit of trickiness for updating the GPS if you want to use the latitude and longitude. For now, we're just going to assume that there's going to be an address, city, state, and zip values that will parse along. And so those are the updated values for the save button on the new visit. And we're going to test it out now live in front of you and see if this works. Running the application from the home screen, I can create new brands, new locations. And what we're testing now is the new visit. And I'm going to put this as the test value for the live video. And then the live video is completely done. Okay. And looking at the location, we can plug in the address, so 123 Main Street, and we'll click on save. And we see the ants go across there, and we're back in our gallery of visits here. So if I was to click on this top level here, we see that it has the detail. If I'd been taking pictures associated with this site visit, they would be saved there as well. The test value for the live video, and the live video is completely done. We see that it's 123 Main Street. And if I click on the pencil icon to edit this, again, all of this data has been retained in the collection. Again, if I click on save here, that shows me that this particular form doesn't have a command for where it's going to go after it saves the information. So we have some further iterations of cleanup to do if we want to go through that. But let's just close that for the time being, or stop the preview of it. If I go to the SharePoint list and take a look here, sure enough is the comments. The live video is completely done. The test value for the live video. So we see that our Power Automates data flow workaround seems to be working just fine. So let's jump back over to our traceability matrix and see if there's anything that remains to be done. So the formatting and naming with the page titles and the cosmetics in terms of whatever images we wanted to put up through the static media, we've done that. The new entries, we've seen the consistent data fields being changed with the titles and the subtitles. The context variables, we need to make sure that when we create a new variable, or excuse me, when we create a new visit, that we are passing those context variables. And I thought we did that already. So when there's a new visit here, we see again, there is the brand name and the location name being sent over. So that is being taken care of. And when I'm on the dashboard screen and I click on the plus sign here, I see that it creates a new record with the brand name and the location name. So we have that context variable taken care of. So that's been addressed. And then finally, the only other piece that you might want to start to consider at this point, we're working with SharePoint lists, which are not the easiest things to use in terms of keeping referential integrity in place. There's a reason why databases are more popular for that type of thing than SharePoint list. There are a couple of options that you have available for you to create new databases. You have a variety of databases that are strictly within Microsoft Azure, so you can decide between which ones of these are more your style. Notice that all of them are relational data models until you get to the Azure Cosmos database. So Azure Cosmos database seems very interesting to me personally these days. And there's an easier page to jump to if you are really interested in converting over to a different data solution than the SharePoint list, and that's to go to the Get Started database page for Azure, where you can create, again, a SQL database, a Cosmos database, a database for MySQL, database for PostgreSQL, and SQL Server on VM. Right, so we have gone through the agenda of what we intended to cover from today. So if you have further interest in how to build a reporting solution for what we've done with this conversion of the out-of-the-box Shopper app, then tune in to the 4th video, which should be released upcoming week as well. Thank you for your attention during this session. If this is helpful for you, please click subscribe. And if there are other types of contents or topics that you would like us to address, other products that are within the ecosystem of where we work, which is the Microsoft stack of cloud technologies, then please drop me a note, and I'm happy to put together a queue of what the suggestions are. Thanks again.